good morning, and welcome to another brief edition of Go After Dark, Ride and Vibe. Hopefully, everyone is doing well. It's a brand new day, which happens to be Thursday, and for some, it's Friday. So, happy new day to one and to all. Prayerfully, your day was wonderful. For those of you who are in bed, and I will be in a little bit, your night will be the same. Those of you that may come in, please be sure, if you don't mind, to hit the like button by double tapping or going to the three little dots on the upper right hand corner. Those up. There we go. All right, this is good. Nice and chill. Glad to have those that have come in ride with me for a little bit. I'm not sure how many, if any, were able to catch my commentary earlier on the Sonya Massey case. For those of you who may not have heard it, um, it was my raw commentary and thoughts on the entire issue. Keep in mind, this incident occurred on July the 6th. However, I am the type, when it deals with cases such as this, that I prefer to wait until as much information is provided as possible, especially if there's a possibility that body cam footage is available. I will warn you, for those who may not have seen footage, I still cannot bring myself to view it, but I've read the transcripts and it appears extremely graphic. So in short, for those who may not be aware, Sonya, 36 years old, I'll just say allegedly called the police because she felt uneasy and thought there may have been a prowler outside of her residence. Two police, or what they are being called, deputies, arrived at her residence. Apparently, there were no signs of any would-be intruders or prowlers. The events that occurred after, again, it was hard for me to speak about it earlier and difficult for me to speak on it now. But the end result was there was a pot, reportedly, of boiling water. The deputy sheriff, Sean Grayson, 30 years old, for whatever reason, after allegedly Sonya Massey stated I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Felt that threatened that her life was taken in the manner in which it was taken. Deplorable. There are many things coming out, and I'm sure as time goes on, we will find out more about Sean Grayson. Thus far, what we know is 30 years old, has been employed at 6 police-related positions in the last 4 years. But most notably, as I mentioned, in 2016, and again I will say allegedly, was discharged from the U.S. Army, or he was at Fort Riley, for serious misconduct. Records were requested, and thus far, the last time I checked, I haven't seen anything released at this time. Some records take longer than others, and I am unsure if whatever is found in the records, if there may be any portions that need to be redacted before being released to the public. But my questions will continue to be is number one, with what we have gone through for years now, as it relates to law enforcement, and not all law enforcement, but a good handful, maybe a couple of handfuls. Background checks. And that was the focus of my video, as to how someone with the allegations that he's had continued to be hired. It was reported that on a couple of applications, I'm assuming the question was, why did you leave your last job? He selected other. And on one of the applications, reportedly, he listed resigned. As I stated in my video, usually, and I find it so very difficult to fathom an interviewer not asking or expecting him to elaborate, especially on the answers of other. Anytime, and I don't mean to sound redundant because many people may not have even heard this, they're speaking basically on the horrific details. And this was horrible. But there are other sides to this that I want people to understand and hone in as well. And I'm sure the investigators and the attorneys are doing just that. But when you are applying for a position in public trust, if you are already in a position of public trust, you will most definitely undergo a background investigation. Some are limited, and there are some depending on the level of clearance, if a clearance is even needed, more in depth. And it just befuddles me still as I think about this and listen to additional news reports, how someone could have dropped the ball the way it appears it was done. There are certain questions, as I mentioned, that are red flags. That is why those conducting those investigations, before it's adjudicated, they have an actual interview with the candidate or with the employee. Because if you're already in a position, depending upon that position, those investigations are done every several years. Again, it depends. And if you have a top secret or with CI, then it's done in shorter intervals. There have been reports that there was DUI charges where fines allegedly were paid. From my optics, there were so many red flags that it absolutely makes no sense how he was able to go from job to job without any questions. Now, there could have been a few questions, but not enough. Whereas he wasn't selected for these positions. I also mentioned that even though he was directly responsible for taking the life of Sonya Massey, again, 36 years old, I believe, and it is my strong opinion, that there are other culpable parties. I'm speaking of human resources, selecting officials, the actual police department, perhaps the state. In many high-profile cases, there will never be just one defendant. There are going to be several named. There will be several interviews. There will be a request, I'm sure, of a slew of documents from many agencies. He was charged with 3 counts a first degree and is already pleaded not guilty. So as I said, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. I am not sure who he will retain, but we've seen this in the past with other high-profile cases where there are often, and I wouldn't be surprised if one hasn't been set up already, fundraisers such as GoFundMe to help fund for legal representation. There are a lot of questions. And as I stated earlier, the Illinois State Police stated that his actions did not warrant his use of deadly force. There have also been statements, and I would like to say I cannot substantiate this, but there are people that will always make statements that there could have been a mental health issue with Sonya Massey. I watched briefly, not too long ago, an interview with a family member who revealed she has lupus. I have lupus, and I've had it for many, many years. I don't know what type of lupus she had, what type of medications she may have been taking, and how it affected her, because it affects everyone differently. That, and I'm not implying or stating that it is, but that's something that may be explored. There's so many things. As I mentioned, we don't know all of the conversations. We may never know everything that happened, but what we do know is a 36-year-old woman lost her life after calling the police for help. The boiling water part of this case is where it's fuzzy for me, because I'm not sure how, and I'm not in the mind of those officers or any officers when they go out on calls, but I can't understand how boiling water, especially when you have two members of law enforcement in your residence caused or allegedly caused that much fear that an officer felt as though they needed to end a woman's life. Excuse me. There have been many people speaking on this. There are many comments. And one I want to piggyback off of, and many people may not agree, but that's the beauty of being an individual. You can agree to disagree respectfully. As I stated in my video earlier, I wasn't going to participate in any race baiting or a race card because there are and there have been situations involving the police with other races, but you don't see that as often. The media doesn't show that as often. So because of that, in my opinion, you will have a population of people who will gravitate towards, as always, the police and brutality against one or two groups. When in all actuality, if you look at the statistics, that's what I'll just leave it at. Just look at the statistics. What is delivered by many members of the media outlets, they don't always coincide with statistics. Is that by design? I can't definitively say that it is. But history and just a little effort to research, you will find that the corrupt police officers don't always discriminate. The point I'm making is something has to be done with allowing these individuals, these problematic individuals, these individuals with checkered backgrounds, to not slip through the proverbial cracks. And be issued badges and weapons, as I mentioned, that could ultimately destroy families. The mere fact that this former deputy sheriff allegedly being discharged from the U.S. Army for serious misconduct, that should have automatically come up on the background. There are too many automated systems. Too many. that should not have been missed. Failure to not follow up on the answers provided as it related to previous employment. Those answers being other or resigned. You are entering a position, which I stated earlier, one that was once lauded as one of the most sought after positions for youngsters. That definitely was cause for follow-up phone call and visit to the previous POE or place of employment. Why that did not happen? Definitely be on the top of the list of my questions. I also mentioned not implying, not suggesting, but just asking questions. Could it be a possibility that someone he may have known could have helped or assisted with him being hired? We all should know by now that this does happen, not just with law enforcement, but with many positions. I've actually seen it firsthand. Interns coming in, and because they're parents or friends of parents or at the upper echelon at certain agencies, they'll be afforded opportunities over someone who actually has gone to school and had prior training. So please do not be fooled into thinking or believing that those practices don't exist, because they do. There have been people speaking about some police officers belonging to certain organizations that have the intent to bring harm to certain individuals. Now, I do not know, again, the validity of that, and that is something that I cannot speak on. What I do know is there are several stories, many cases of corruption as it relates to some police officers. You can do the research for whatever state you may reside. You can go through the Department of Justice website, or go to the USA website. plethora of cases there. Or you can just research at your local area for such cases. There are many former members of the military who were discharged, who end up, excuse me, working in security, or some of them enter the police force. I've also mentioned that there are many states, unfortunately, that are desperate for officers because of the rise in crime rates, and they do not have enough personnel because of retirement, and quite honestly, which is sad but true, the pay for many. Let's just be honest. It's a dangerous job, and unfortunately, many good officers have lost their lives doing what the bad officers haven't done, and that's protect and serve. Again, I'm not speaking about everyone, but keep in mind there are many out there. And Sean Grayson is just 30 years old. That's very young. Hey there, twin. How are you? Hey there, Lady DJ. How are you? Six Bows. Sorry I was driving. But thank you to those that tuned in on this quick edition of Ride and Vibe. My music wasn't too loud. I actually got caught up in speaking about this because it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, and there are so many things that are going on. Too many things. I'm going to be doing, I plan to do a video that encompasses a lot of things that we've seen go on just in these recent weeks. So let me recognize who was here, so I don't want you to think that I didn't see you. Arlene, April, how are you? Let's see who else was in here. Six Bows, Joy. R.A. Garcia, how are you? Nightbot, sorry about that. I didn't do that to you, R.A. Nightbot did that. I'm going to have to talk to Nightbot. Joseph, how are you? How are you? And who else came in here? Nightbot is really Lady DJ, hope Nightbot didn't get you. Oh no. Sorry. Sorry, Lady DJ. That wasn't me. That was Nightbot. So that is it for me right now. Any thoughts? Again, I did a live on that and spoke more in depth about my feelings about this. And as more information comes out, it's just heartbreaking. So thank you all that tuned in. Please make sure that you you look at the story. And I am not suggesting that anyone views that video. If you do, and I'm speaking about the actual footage, viewer discretion is advised. I couldn't look at it, and I'm not going to. As I said, my information came from research and the transcript. I am just too squeamish for any of that. But again, this occurred on July the 6th, but the camera footage was just released on yesterday. So that is why I would imagine you see and hear many people speaking on this. So that being said, I am going to end this. And again, thank you to everyone that came by. And again, Nightbot is new to me. So R.A. Garcia and Lady DJ, I didn't time you out, nor did I have it programmed for Nightbot to do that. I'm not sure what's wrong with Nightbot. Maybe he needs a little sip of something. So I'll have to try to work on that to see what happened. But everyone, have a safe, pleasant, and peaceful night if it's night for you all. And if it's morning, and I know it is for you, twin, and probably others out there, enjoy your morning, enjoy your day. Until next time. And I see the Oracles channel in here. Blessings to you. And thank you for coming by. You enjoy your day as well. And Oracle says, I can't read, access the, I'll have to read it again. But yes, I have to go in to see why Nightbot did that to my supporters, especially when they said nor did anything wrong. But yes, tonight's subject was just a follow-up to my commentary earlier on the Sonya Massey, Sean Grayson case that many people are speaking of. I have yet to listen to the address our President Joe Biden has given, so that'll be my next commentary, but it won't be tonight. It'll be maybe sometime tomorrow after I've had a chance to listen and extrapolate what I feel as though are the important points. And then I'll speak on that. But again, thank you to those that did stop by. Again, it's the Sonya Massey Sean Grayson case that many content creators are speaking about, many news outlets are reporting on. Again, this is a 36-year-old woman, mother of two in Illinois, that briefly and quickly called 911. See, I'm getting sleepy because she thought there may have been a prowler, and two police came, responded. Somehow or another, it went left, and the woman lost her life. And there's boiling water and the statement of rebuking you in the name of Jesus, and then she lost her life. So, the deputy sheriff, former deputy sheriff, Sean Grayson, is in jail. Um, he's going to be in there for a bit. I am not sure if he's retained counsel at this time, but as I mentioned, he was charged with third degree M, and he's pleaded not guilty. So, Ben Crump is, of course, and I spoke a little bit about that on my earlier live. I'm not going to go into it now because it's late, well, early, but he's representing the family of Sonya Massey and Brent Crump. For those who may not know, um, he he's the face behind many of these high profile cases. The last one I believe he was involved with was with George Floyd. So his office does other cases, but usually it's cases like these you'll see his name attached to. So he's already had press conferences, and I've seen people in other chats at their comments, and I wanted to respond to one of them, but I didn't. But one person stated that they hope the family gets millions. And as I said, I am almost sure there's going to be an award for damages, but no award is going to bring that young woman back. No award is going to erase the memory of that young woman. And if any of her family did watch, what I'm hearing was extremely graphic. That video, no award amount will erase those images or audio. You cannot, at least in my mind, ever put a price tag on life. You just can't. So that's my thought on that. So, everyone that again has come in, thank you so much for taking time to stop by, to show love and support. And always keep in mind, as I've stated so many times, life is short. I have put in, by the grace of my Creator, 55 years, almost 56, God willing, in November. And I have seen many, many things. Some of the, and I'll just say this briefly, petty things that I see on YouTube, I shake my head because there's actually suffering going on out here. Yes, I understand the entertainment aspect, But reality, sooner or later, has to or should kick in for many. History will continue to repeat itself unless measures are put in to deter this type of corruption, this type of violence. Many were taught growing up when something goes wrong, or if you're in fear of something, to call the police. When we keep hearing stories like this, one of two things could happen, especially for our young people. They may end up being afraid to call the police, or because we see and hear these stories more often than not, some may become desensitized to this. And to me, that's dangerous. And I pray that doesn't happen. There are many, unfortunately, Sonya Masseys whose stories were not and may not ever be told. So, with that, thank you all, as I said, who took a moment to stop by to show love, and any comments. Thank you so very much. You all take care. Until next time, bye bye for now.